A note to viewers, I'm editing this video together 9 months after installation, so it shows you my initial impressions, but I'll also include notes about actually using these cameras for 3 seasons, the hottest, coldest, and wettest of the year. So I hope you find this useful. I recently picked up this pair of Aqara cameras. I was looking for some indoor-outdoor cameras, especially ones that work with Apple Home, and then Prime Day came along and these were on deep discount. So it was too good to pass up. Now I'm not affiliated at all. I bought these with my own money, and I'm not going to get into product reviews all that much, but since I'm here and putting these in, I thought I would do a review. People tend to like that sort of thing, and I get into all the details and show you exactly what's in the box and how well it works and that sort of thing. So like I said, these work with Apple Home. That's an important priority to us right now. We're using the Apple Home app as the one single place to go to control all the smart home devices, and that's a lot easier rather than going to separate apps for each different vendor. And until we go to something like Home Assistant, the Home app works really well for us. Plus, we already have a pair of Logitech Circle View doorbell cameras, and I did a video where I figured out how to put 2 of those into the same home. Strangely, Logitech doesn't support 2 of those doorbells on a single physical ringer in the same home. So I had to do some sleuthing and some slightly customized wiring, but I did figure out how to make them both work with the single chime. So I'll link to that here in case you're curious about another HomeKit Secure video, Apple Home type camera. Anyways, these are both cameras that I think are going to do really well for different purposes. One hanging on the eave of our house looking over a big yard, and another in an outbuilding looking at our cats so we can monitor them when we're away, because we're those kind of people, I guess. So I'm going to open these up and get into the details of them. We'll do the installation. I'll show you what it can do in Apple Home, and I realize that there's features beyond that, including some really high resolution video, as well as other features in addition to the basic stuff that we really need that does show up in that Home app. So what's in the box? There's this extra long USB-C to USB-C cord. That's what powers it. You've got this thing, which is maybe some sort of template or magnet backing. I don't want to speculate. Then there's this. This is literally all warnings and protecting against liability. So you can throw that aside. This is the only instructions that come in the box. It's really just pictures and diagrams that really encourage you to go find a QR code. So not much there either. Some simple screws. As far as the camera itself, from initial impressions, the fit and finish seems good. The precision of build seems good. It's got a nice tight hinge, and little things like the rubber protector on this base that protects the opening to the screw that I suspect lets you remove the base plate. It just seems well made. The rubber is retained so you don't lose it. It snaps in firmly. Little things like that suggest that there was some thought put into it. Along with, I like this type of hardware. This is actually the kind you can put a coin in there and turn that. You can also use a Phillips probably if you wanted to, but oh, what about, yeah, wouldn't you know, that fits together. Okay, we've already learned something. Well, what's inside? I can't not open this up now. Oh, okay, gotcha. So here's your reset and the QR codes, which are specific to your device. They are the same ones that are printed on the outside. So for Apple Home, this is really easy to set up. You just scan that in the Home app, and you don't have to install anything else, probably, but this will be the setup for the full Aqara app that has all of the features. So I'll probably do both. And then I'm not going to take it off, but I believe this just takes the base off of the camera unit. So what's this for? Probably for fitting in there. Yep. Oh, wow. Mystery solved. Setup in Apple Home is done like adding any other HomeKit accessory. You point your camera at the Apple QR code. It identified it as a camera, connected to it, configured it, and then presented some basic settings like do you want to stream or stream and record. There are other settings that can be edited in the Home app later. But next I wanted to add it to the Aqara Home app, and this didn't go quite as smoothly. It took a few tries to get the camera to register with the Aqara app, and then once it finally did, the app wanted me to set up my dashboard, which I wasn't too concerned with, and it wanted me to set up Thread and set up Matter and set up integration into Apple Home, and in the midst of all that, it wanted me to rate the app, which hadn't worked very well so far and that I had barely used. So instead of getting me to see my new camera up and running, it felt like the app priority was on setting up a whole bunch of devices around the Aqara ecosystem, which of course I'm not going to do. I have to say, once I finally got to the settings menus for the camera, the menus were really clear and there's lots of different settings you can make, and they were easy to navigate. So that's what I'll be using in the future. Unfortunately, that part of the app works pretty well. So before I go outside and get on the ladder, I am going to take apart the mounting base. So here's where I pop up this little cover, this little rubber cover, which is cool, and then pop out this screw. Doesn't want to come out. So slide this off. Oh, cool. It's another captive. So this is just like the rubber has a retainer on it so that it doesn't fall off and get lost. The screw is captured as well so it doesn't come out. Nice feature when you're up on that ladder that this doesn't fall all the way out. Strange, it has the instructions up. That's going to be odd when I mount it horizontally. Anyway, here's what we need to know to go install it outside. Guess I'll bring the screws with me and find a suitable mounting point. It doesn't come with a wall adapter, so be aware you need something that'll supply 5 volts, 2 amps, and that's not too hard to come by, but it's a USB-C cable on both ends. You could probably use a USB-A to USB-C cable as well, as long as you're satisfying the 2 amps there. I chose to install the base plate on this eave, which is near some power that already is there, so that makes it convenient. It is under a gutter, which isn't ideal, but this thing is supposed to be outdoor rated. It's close to the corner of the house where hopefully I can tilt it to show the whole backyard. Well, here's how it's working out so far, and this is subject to change, but I'm pretty happy with it so far. First off, I found a USB adapter with a USB-A output, and it's a 2 amp supply, so that'll satisfy what the camera needs with USB-C on the other end. And you can see there's not a lot of space there to actually use the hinge on the camera because of the USB-C cord, but I guess that's not a big deal. It's got a big field of view, so from here I'm able to basically shoot down the side of the house, see most of the yard. The field of view is 133 degrees, which I think is a good balance of covering a large area without the fishbowl effect getting too extreme. My biggest concern is that it's just not under the eave as much as I would like. We've got a gutter right above it, and it's got these vent holes on top. I mean, it's rated as an outdoor camera, but I'm just not seeing it. As someone who works with electrical enclosures and equipment out in the elements, it's just kind of surprising to me. Besides these vent holes, there's also this open space for the USB cord. Maybe it's sealed internally. I'm just not going to worry about it. I'm going to use it, see if it performs. If it doesn't, I guess I'll go with warranty or cut my losses and find something else. But so far, I gotta say, looks like this is going to do the job. For spying, that's the job it has to do on cats and dogs. And I'll definitely be cleaning up that cable connection. It looks okay for now and it'll work, but it's kind of just hovering below the stucco. So I'll probably look for a USB adapter that has a right angle output and just the right length of cable. Maybe put a clip up to the eave there so that nothing's flopping about. And of course we've got to do this. Okay, let's look at the G100 Aqara camera. A little less advanced than the G5 Pro. It doesn't have as many of the detection type of features, but I'm planning to put this in our shop where the cats sleep at night, and it's got the features I need, the IR and color night vision, as well as a 140-degree wide angle. It is limited to 2.4 gigahertz, so it's not a problem for me, but it's also nice it only takes 5 volt, 1 amp. And I think it's still 2K resolution if you're using the Aqara app. And of course, HomeKit Secure video on Apple Home is limited to 1080p still, so that's disappointing, but will still be plenty useful. So let's tear into this and see what it looks like and what it comes with. Yeah, nice compact design. Okay, so it's got the big long USB-C to USB-C single screw. So let's look inside. Nice. I wish this was on the other one. This one they thought about the USB connection. I actually, in my real life, my real job, I work on a lot of systems that use USB, but in industrial or sort of nasty environments. And we have to do quite a lot to make USB survive. And one of those things is focusing on the rigidity and the water and dust proofness of the joint. So they've just put a piece of basically rubber on here. Shrink wrap would do the same thing, but I'm glad they did that. I wish they had thought about that a little bit more on the plug-in for the G5 Pro, because I'm sure it's going to get full of water. But anyways, one really nice feature about this one is the way its mount kind of unfolds and you get the Z-shaped mount, I guess you would call it. So that allows you to rotate the camera around and mount it on a wall. And if that's all the angle you need, then that would work. It looks like you can also go the other way, and has lots and lots of possibilities when you combine all the degrees of motion. This one also has a card slot in the side of it, so that's pretty neat, along with the reset button. Feels really well made, just like the G5, a little lighter, but it still looks like they've thought through things a lot. I think this is a pass-through for the USB cable. If you were mounting on like a receptacle and you wanted to have the wiring completely, hidden, you could punch that out and run the cable through it and it would kind of pop out the back. I think that's what that's for. I don't need to worry about that. Just going to use the single hole for mounting it, and I'll bring you back once I've got some more to show you. I'm out here in the shop where I end up making a lot of videos, and to hook this thing up, we're gonna have to get creative. Initially, I thought I'd put it up there where the light bulb is, and there's a power receptacle there too. And I still will use the power receptacle, but putting it up there doesn't make any sense because its view would be obscured by this stuff. I've got a hitch rack, which is pretty nice, actually, it's really handy. And then a couple of hitch mounted carriers that I keep stored up there. So putting it up there wouldn't be the best place to put it, but over in the corner, it should work just fine. But to make all that work, we've got to use a bunch of cables. So here's a USB-C extension cable plugged into the white, big long cable that the camera came with. And it's got the connection with the rubber sealing over it. For powering it, the old iPhone original Cube works good. This is just 1 amp, 5 volts, and you know, what uses that anymore? So use this thing up along with a simple USB A to C low speed adapter that I wasn't going to use anyway. So a little funky, but then again, this shop is kind of funky. The one screw it came with stripped almost immediately, and I'm pretty careful putting these sorts of things in. Lots of pressure, good angle, trigger control, all that. But it's stripped just because the metal is soft. And it is a number 2 bit. I tried a number 1 in here, and it's very loose. Number 2, it doesn't engage very far, but that is the size it's meant for. So it's not a bit problem, it's just a weak screw problem. It's kind of a pain. Thanks for nothing. Here's how that installation ended up in the shop. Very simple. I used that light fixture like I mentioned, and I clipped the USB extension cord and the cord that came with the camera over to the corner where I have the camera mounted. And it only needs 90 degrees, of course, from that corner, but it's got 140 to work with, so it does a really nice job of getting the entire shop into the frame. And this one actually gives really good clarity at night with just a little bit of light coming from that small light bulb. Although if it was off, you can also use night vision, which is pretty good too. Both of the cameras do a nice job in low light conditions. Of course, setup is very easy on Apple Home, but I'll just demonstrate it here. I'm plugging it in and the light turns on immediately. By the way, I'm using my U-Green power adapter. This thing is awesome. It's like 200 watts total. It can handle all the USB-A fast charging protocols as well as USB-C power delivery. And I'm stalling because just in a moment, it's going to tell us that it's ready to connect.
Ready to connect. Please open the app.
There it is. So I'm going to start by just using Apple Home and add an accessory. Like normal, you take a picture of the QR code, it recognizes it as a camera, add to Home. Well, it's been 5 minutes now of the Home app just showing setting up and the camera flashing its yellow light. Nothing's happening. Oh, there we go. Unable to add accessory. Operation timed out. Well, that's not good. I guess I'll try it again.
Network connecting. Please wait.
And on the second attempt to add it, I had no trouble. It connected almost immediately and the light changed from a flashing yellow to a flashing blue light. So let's see if this actually completes.
The account is bound successfully. Welcome aboard.
Great. We'll take the defaults and there we are. So you can see me standing over the camera. And a bit of feedback there since it has a microphone in it. When I go into the camera settings, apparently that stops recording the audio. I was hoping there'd be an option in here to turn off audio recording, but it doesn't look like there is. So that may be an option that's only available in the Aqara Home app. I'll need to go there to update the firmware anyway. So let's go ahead and open here. It popped up with a Find Device camera G100, that's this one. Let's go ahead and use that. Interesting that it detected it, but I still need to scan. This is actually a second G100 camera that I bought after installing the one in the shop to monitor the kitties. And so I'm going back and showing the setup process here. So now the camera has been successfully added to the Aqara Home app and accept all of the defaults. There we go. So now you're seeing again me filming and the overhead camera as well as my overhead light. I've got a video about that if you're interested. This is a repurposed LED display. This is the backlight from it that I've converted into a nice diffused light for recording videos on my bench. Here's a table that shows some of the differences between the two camera models and using them with Aqara Home versus using them with HomeKit. So you can see most of the differences are pretty subtle. There's a little bit more resolution on the G5 Pro. There's a bit more field of view on the G100. In both cases, you can control the spotlight. With HomeKit, you can just flip the spotlight on and off. If you use the Aqara Home app, that's where you get more options for automatic turning on and off of the light based on motion or certain times of the day. You also get more AI detection features with the G5 Pro on Aqara Home. Using HomeKit, you get the standard package of detecting person, package, animal, or vehicle, and you can select activity zones. Both cameras support facial recognition, but if you want to do it within Aqara Home, you'll have to add each person into Aqara's face library, whereas HomeKit uses the faces you've already identified within the Apple Photos library that you select. There is also the issue of storage. On the G5 Pro, you have actually pretty limited built-in storage, and it's more focused on using an external NAS or RTSP streaming, which is actually something you can do on both cameras. But the G100 allows you to insert a SD card up to 512 gigabytes. The main advantage of the G5 Pro is to use it as a hub for Zigbee, Thread, or Matter. In my case, I actually don't need that, so the G100 is probably a better fit for me. One of the things I do love about these Aqara cameras is the weatherproofness though. After 9 months of use, I've had no interruptions, no problems whatsoever with lots of rain and lots of wind and temperature swings. There's been not a single hiccup. So if you want to keep an eye on your yard or your pets or all the projects you've got in work like I do here, and especially if you like using HomeKit Secure video, I definitely recommend these Aqara cameras. They're easy to set up, they seem really well built, and they're pretty affordable too. I did leave links to the products I used here in the description, and I'm happy to answer any questions. So if you found this helpful, let me know by hitting the like button or leaving a comment. But most of all, thanks a lot for watching.